Had the T11 last night. This one the least of the visually impaired categories for athletes in the 5,000 metres. Seven athletes taking part in this event. Wojciech of Poland, European champion over this distance, as well as the 1,500 metres. Guillaume, Ouellet, gold in 2015, so defending that championship. Bonze of Ukraine, two brothers who competed at the World Military Games. Decent athletic family indeed. Koske of Kenya supports Chelsea, but we'll forgive him for that. Ben Ibrahim, back in 2008, sixth in the Paralympics last year. And inside, it is the Moroccan Chantouf El Amin. Gold in 2012, silver at the Paralympics last year, gold in the marathon also in the T12 last year. And this man, Alou Bilal, sixth in 2016 in the 1,500, bronze in 2016 in this event with a personal best, which was a world record for T13. So Kenya's Henry Kerwa, who was a gold medalist at the Paralympics in 2008 and 2016, and bronze back in 2012, doesn't start.
It's an interesting one. Quite a few Kenyan athletes haven't started their races, but there are due to be two Kenyan starters here. Koske is here, but Kerwa, the reigning Paralympic champion, isn't, which is somewhat curious.
Well, we have seen in the past, in the call room, when people not being there in time, the rules have been tightened. And not only that, they're being delayed on the start line at present. So only 7 starters in this event. Ali of Tunisia, Morocco's El Chantouf, his compatriot Ben Ibrahim, Koske of Kenya, Bonze of Ukraine, of Canada, and Poland's Lucas Wojciech. As they move up to take their marks on the line in the men's 5,000 metres T13 final. All away. It's the Canadian who takes out an early lead, and all the runners move into an early pattern. Coming up there in El Chantouf of Morocco, who moves ahead of Ouellet, who's in second place, and it's Youssef Ben Ibrahim. But the Ukrainian athlete there in Bonze has already found himself some work to do, but racing out in front is Chantouf. Well, he's already opened up a lead of around 10 metres on the first lap, so he's perhaps taken a strategy, Will, that he's going to go out in front and go out early and see who comes with him.
Well, we've seen some great battles between Elamin Chantouf and Henry Kerwa in previous championships, where they've been very much stride for stride. The Paralympic Games, Kerwa won it, El Chantouf was in second place. That was in Rio. Here in this stadium in the 5,000 metres, which Elamin Chantouf won back in 2012. Kerwa took the bronze in that, but Kerwa, as well as that, was entered for the 5,000 metres for the World Championships in Lyon in 2013. And if I recall, there were actually visa problems in the end, and Kenya beaten that just in case the reversed their thoughts. Now, Elamin Chantouf, we've seen him do this before, go out to the front and try and burn everybody off straight away. Ben Ibrahim of Morocco just behind him from Casablanca, bronze in the 5,000 metres 2 years ago in Doha, and that stinging heat, and he's been a silver medalist in this race in the Paralympic Games in Beijing in 2008, the man from Casablanca, and Koskai in third, quite comfortable at the moment.
Discus and Dan Greaves, who's in fourth position, his fourth attempt. 56-54 required if he's to get to the medals in the F44 discus throw. Just out of the medals, talking of that, in Doha back in 2015 when he marginally finished outside in fourth position. He remains there, doesn't improve. Well, it does slightly, 56.09.
10 laps to go in the men's 5,000 metres, T13. Least and still with a comfortable advantage around 10 metres in front of Morocco's Youssef Ben Ibrahim, with Koskai locked behind him for Kenya in third place. Just a slight gap then. Bilal Aloui of Tunisia in fourth. Bronze in the 5,000 metres in Rio at the Paralympic Games. He finished sixth in the 1,500. And in terms of what we mean by least visual impairment, the three visual impairment cat, well, Jason Smith is T13, and he can basically see just about 40 metres straight in front of him, but it's almost like a blurred tunnel then surrounding it. So in terms of lateral vision and being able to see what's happening to the left or the right to you, it's generally not possible. But every athlete gets their eyesight rated, and sometimes an athlete will have their eyesight deteriorate, so they'll go from bar for Elamine Chantouf. 9 laps to go, well out in front.
Not going so well for the man at the very back of the pack, Lukas Verdetsky, the European 5,000 metres champion. He's fallen way back, so he's in trouble very early on indeed. But it is, El Chantouf out in front. Youssef Ben Ibrahim, silver back in 2008 in Beijing, only sixth last year at the Paralympics in Rio. Slightly making up a little bit of ground there, so the gap now widening out between the top four, almost becoming the also. Koskai in second, Ben Aloui in fourth position. But the man out in front, El Chantouf, doing it rather easily indeed. He's looking very strong out there in front. We're around 5 minutes or so into this race already. 12.5 laps in the 5,000 metres, and El Chantouf, he's held that 10 metres, but those behind him are staying with him. Aloui in fourth position, just holding on there to the back of the athletes in front of him, making sure he doesn't lose too much distance.
Very comfortable for Elamine Chantouf at the moment. Bit of movement behind him from Bernard Koskai. It's his first major championship, but Ruth Chumo is his coach as well. But it's as you were in this final. Round 2.
Let's go back to the T20 long jump. Dmitro Prudnikov. Well, that's not bad indeed, is it? He won gold back in 2013. Not with the last ones. With jumps like that, that's good indeed. He's up into the silver medal position, 7.12. What a jump indeed for the Ukraine.
7 laps to go in the men's 5,000 metres final. Elamine Chantouf leading a long string of 5 athletes there, with Koskai in second place. He's 35 years old, making his bow here. Ben Ibrahim in fourth, and then quite a gap all the way back to Ouellet of Canada in fifth. But they're so strung out. The European champion is way behind in seventh, that being Lukas Verdetsky, the man who's previously been a world champion over 800 metres, but it'll normally happen in athletics. If you start off at 800, the older you get, then the longer you go. Still Shantouf in front.
Dan Greaves back at the men's discus throw F44, the final round. He's in 4th position, 56.09. He's got to come up with something. 56.54 required. Well, that's up there, isn't it? That may well be there what he needs. He wasn't so sure. He's a season best of 58.12. What say the officials, Dan Greaves? Well, 57.01, he's just missed out. He's improved, but only to 4th. He stays there, misses out in the medals again.
6.5 laps to go in this 5,000 metres. Still Elamine Shantouf, that little margin of around 10 metres in the back straight ahead of Koskai, just passing where Dan Greaves had that throw a few moments ago. There's a brilliant London sporting name if ever there was one. Little bit of a move up coming up from behind by Ben Ibrahim of Morocco, tightening the gap a little bit. And still solidly in 4th place is Bilal Aloui. So right now it's Morocco, Kenya, Morocco and Tunisia. Gap of around 25 metres back to the Canadian. Guillaume Ouellet lives in Quebec in Victoriaville. Or maybe Victoriaville. He's a good athlete. He was the reigning world champion. He claimed that fantastically in Doha 2 years ago. He'd been 6th in the 1500 metres, but couldn't replicate that in Rio, where it was a little bit cooler there than it had been in Doha. He finished 4th in the 5,000 metres there. He was also baking in Lyon in the previous Worlds in 2013.
Well, Elamine Shantouf remains out in front. Koskai, I thought he was having a bit of a struggle there at one point, maybe just giving himself a bit of a breather to get himself back into the rhythm he needs to get into. Ben Ibrahim also in there, and Bilal Aloui. There hasn't been any change over the past few laps. They've almost mirror imaged the whole way around, because at the moment it's a race between those 4. But the man out in front, Elamine Shantouf, he's stretched his lead somewhat on that lap. He's put it in a few hard yards on the back straight, so he's now stretched out to around 15 or 20 metres and just picked up the pace marginally with just over 4 laps remaining in this men's 5,000 metres T13 category. So it is Elamine Shantouf who leads from Kenya's Bernard Koskai.
4 in your shot, but the man who's going to emerge in 5th in a few seconds is the interesting one, the reigning world champion Ouellet, because he looks to have a bit in resisting up in that bunch of 3 for the past couple of laps, but it is leading the way. Elamine Shantouf, the former world and Paralympic champion, the reigning Paralympic marathon champion, claimed in Rio back in September. Silver in the 5,000 metres behind Henry Kerwa, who's absent today. Has opened things up a bit, but in terms of para-athletics and the IAAF circuit, there are so many Kenyans that could step in. Even the 10th or 15th best Kenyan could give you a very, very good race. So Koskai, coming in his international championship debut, has got a strong prospect of gold here. About 15 metres behind Elamine Shantouf, who's beginning to put the hammer down a little bit. Koskai in 2nd, Ben Ibrahim in 3rd, Aloui in them. In 5th place, the reigning world champion from Doha, Guillaume Ouellet. As between these 5 for glory, the European champion is well back by half a lap. 3 laps to go.
Ouellet crosses the line with 1,200 metres left for him, but still out in front and doing it's Elamine Shantouf. Perhaps the fact that he won that gold in the marathon last year, with that ability to have that endurance, he may well be able to hold on towards the end, but the gap is somewhat closing slightly. The Kenyan Bernard Koskai has taken through the group that he's with Bilal Aloui, who's in 4th place, and Ben Rahimi, who's in 3rd place, and they're just closing that gap ever so slightly, so you may see another kick at some point as they come around with around 2.5 laps remaining for the man who's in front, Elamine Shantouf. Gold in 2012, silver in 2016 in this event, but the marathon winner last year as he goes again as he comes around. Perhaps this home straight crowd has given him a bit of motivation as he puts down the hammer a little bit more and goes a few steps forward. But Koskai, who's been in second place for the majority of this race, well, he's dropped right back. And here come the rest of them through. That's presently Ouellet, who's in third position. But the man who's coming through, Ben Ibrahim, he's really doing it well now.
2 laps to go in this 5,000 metres final. Is really tightening up, and Ben Ibrahim makes a big move towards second place. Koskai, El Shantouf, who's dominated for a lot of the race, and he's stepping off the track. El Shantouf has gone, he put too much into it. He won't finish this 5,000 metres final. Koskai's in third place and Ouellet's up to fourth. So, the former world and Paralympic champion Elamine Shantouf, the 5,000 metres champion here at London 2012, has dropped out with barely, 700 metres forward, but he was struggling and he must have felt that there was nothing in reserve. So it's Ben Ibrahim at the front of the moment for Morocco. It's Ouellet in second place for Tunisia. It's Koskai in third for Kenya. It's Ouellet for Canada in fourth. And the rest are more than half a lap behind. In fifth place now is actually the European champion from Poland, Wadecki. But the medals are going to be decided here. Ben Ibrahim taking it through. It's Ouellet in second place. Koskai in third, and here's the bell.
Ben Ibrahim then, and Ouellet as they go through to take the bell, but Ouellet, the reigning champion, he's still in there with a chance of picking up a bronze medal because Bernard Koskai is struggling somewhat in third place, and here comes the Canadian in the back, Guillaume Ouellet, who's trying to take over third place from Bernard Koskai, but out in front there's a gap of around 30 metres, and it appears there's a straight battle for the gold and silver, but here goes Ouellet down the back straight. He has put the hammer down indeed with around 250 metres to go. Has he left his run too late, or has he got enough in the tank? The Canadian, fourth last year at the Paralympics. He's defending champion though from 2 years ago in Doha. He may have left it too late, but as it is, Ben Ibrahim and Ouellet out front, and that's the battle for the gold and silver. But here comes the Canadian. He's really putting it down now. He's about 5 metres behind. He's closing, but he's going to have to do some work. The sprint becomes on. It's Ben Ibrahim. It's Bilal Ali. Who's going to win it? Ben Ibrahim has it at the moment. He stretches away again, and Ben Ibrahim will take it from Bilal Ali. A world record time of 14:20. It wasn't, but there it is. 14:20.70. What a run there from the man in front who wins it in Ben Ibrahim. Well, he died in his time, didn't he, to get across the line there. Youssef Ben Ibrahim, he was silver back in 2008. A world record of 14:20.69. The pace may have been quick at the beginning and maybe slowed a bit in the middle. The man who led for a lot of the way, Elamine Shantouf, he dropped down with 700 metres to go. He couldn't handle the pace. He set the pace. But in that man there, Youssef Ben Ibrahim, got on. Ouellet there giving him the 100 years ago. It looked as if he'd left his run perfectly with around 400 metres to go, 300 metres to go. He was coming home, but all of a sudden there was a kick at the end.
What a race! What a fantastic race between the top four. So 5 have all set lifetime best. The world record, 3 continental area records, a championship record for a T12 by Koskai, and there was one stage there with about 50 metres to go. Yes, great between Ben Ibrahim and Koskai. Could have Ouellet was reeling them in all the time. This is with what, 250 metres to go. Stepping off the track was Elamine Shantouf. So Ben Ibrahim in the red, Ouellet in the white, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the man who was stalking them all the way through, he was behind them, making sure he was always in touch. Guillaume Ouellet of Canada. This is the moment he felt he could retain the title. Then he looks round his shoulder and Koskai's coming up, who's not dead yet. But Ben Ibrahim against Ouellet. Ben Ibrahim on the inside strides for home to take the gold. The new world record. Ouellet beaten with the silver, but it's still a lifetime best for him. National record too, no doubt. Ouellet with a Canadian, North American and America's record in third. Koskai with a championship record for the T12s in fourth. And then in fifth place, a European record for Witecki. Just look at this. Magnificent. Everybody going full belt. Nobody wanting to give an inch. And Louis at that stage, because too far in front, checking to make sure he wouldn't be pipped for silver. Ouellet having to do the same in third, ahead of Koskai. And I suppose you have to thank the man who goes down in a way as the pacemaker, Elamine Shentouf, who set the pace for most of this race. Fantastic.
Took the words from my mouth. I was going to say that Ben Ibrahim might go and find him and look him up, Elamine Shentouf, and say thank you very much for that pace you set early on, because that's the reason why the world record was broken. Well, what a race indeed. Excitement plus. Guillaume Ouellet coming around with about 300 metres to go. It looked as though he timed it perfectly. In the end, he has to be settling for the bronze medal, but what a race indeed. As we look at confirmation of that final result, Youssef Ben Ibrahim, world record 14:20.69. Bilal Aloui of Tunisia with a lifetime best of 14:21.69, and the former champion, now bronze medalist at 2017, Guillaume Ouellet, with an area record of 14:23.24. But the man there who did not finish, Elamine Shentouf, set the pace early on.
The top 4 men inside the old world record.